Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Gina once again, and I am continuing my 100 days of using my prints. This is number 44 to 47. I'm using a piece of watercolor paper. I asked the lady in the store, and she said it is approximately 130 GSM. So it's not too bad, right? It could take a lot of water. It's watercolor paper. And I get them by the sheets. These that I'm using, it's by the sheet. So I'm using my prints that I did some mark making on, or I just put excess paint on, or, sometimes you're just not in the mood to create, but you want to still do something with paint. And yeah, you just go in and you just make some marks. Or sometimes you use your jelly plate and you just make some marks. And I think for most of us, the jelly plate can be very, very addictive. Because you might have just one idea to do one thing and then just, you just end up spending hours just printing. So, yeah, I'm trying to use up my prints. Although, to be honest, I feel like it's creating more paper. It's kind of weird. But I think that could be because I end up with smaller pieces, so it probably feels like more. But I really, really am trying to use up my prints so that I could get rid of some of them and diminish my pile, as well as create some nice looking pieces. I'm hoping that some of them are, nice enough to sell and nice enough to frame, or nice enough just to help me get my creative energies out as well, because it has been very helpful these days of creating, and it's been useful as well because I'm able to learn stuff. It's helping me try new things, and sometimes I stick with one thing more than the other because I just like it so much. Hence the reason I'm doing so much collage and cutting the big sheet up into smaller pieces. I'm just really loving it so much. Some of you might be fed up by now, but I am still loving it. So for all of those who are sticking it out with me, I want to thank you for, just being here through my process of learning and exploring. I love the exploring. Trying new things, learning new things. Sometimes you really wow yourself. Like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Anyways, so as you can see, I'm just ripping up it's supposed to be red. I know it looks pink, but it's red. So let's call them, red hues, which would include pink. Yeah, let's do that. And maybe my red isn't red enough. Probably. So we'll call these pieces red and pink instead of just red, right? So today's pieces are red and pink. How about that? I'm using a charcoal stick here. I really wanted to use my washi tape as well. You see them all lined up. And I'm using a broken pastel here, a soft pastel I want to blend the edges of the paper into the page. So I thought I could use the pastel and just add some water to activate it. And, it should blend into each other and just start to look like one piece instead of pieces of paper stuck down. But it didn't turn out too good. I was still seeing the roughness of the paper. I didn't like how it was blending out at all. I really didn't like it. But I just thought, I already put it down, so let me just activate all of it. And then I'll go from there. Right, so I got my pieces activated and I didn't like it. So I thought, you know what, let me just bring in some red and go over those same areas with the red. Now, as you can see, it doesn't really look very red when I put it down. So I'm going to go over them again, trying to intensify the color so it wouldn't look so washed out and so pink, because it's supposed to be red. And I'm just going over all those areas with the red paint. My intention is not to cover it entirely. Honestly, I'm thinking I'm just making marks, but over the areas where I try to blend. So now I'm just joining up some of the lines and just making new lines, new marks, some red marks, and honestly, I'm just really trying to connect all the pieces now. That was the point of the charcoal as well, just to add a variant color and to connect all the pieces. So now I'm going in trying to add some color to all of those white spaces. It just felt too white to me, so I'm dipping my brush in the water, shaking it out, then dragging it across the edge of the cup so I won't have too much water, as well as to wash out some of the paint that I would have picked up. And now I'm just going over the charcoal to activate it so that when I go over it with other medium, it won't run as much. Because when it dries, it's not going to be as, what's the word? It's not going to be as water soluble as it is the first time. So now, another piece of paper that I made some marks on, I'm just trying to cut out some shapes. I didn't know what shape to do, so I just went around and around, and then I just cut it up from there. Sometimes I want to make different shapes, and I always end up doing squarish or circle-ish shapes. So I really need to do some research on different types of shapes, so when I'm ready to cut things up, I could, I'll have other things in my brain. But this is always, it's the only thing that comes up. I don't know. And I'm not in the mood for triangles. Nothing really pointy in that way. But maybe I'll do a piece with, I did one before, So maybe I'll do one of these with some triangles. I don't know. Maybe. But I guess circles are timeless. And squares. So I'm getting these stuck down. I know in my mind I'm reminding myself that I'm going to cut this up. So it kind of doesn't matter where I stick it right now, because I'm trying to remind myself not to look at it as a whole piece. So I'm saying, it's okay, Gina, you're going to cut this up. So it's okay to put this here because it's not going to stay all in one. You know what I mean? So here we go. I'm going to cut it up, folding it in half, and then I took half and cut that up in 4 pieces, and that's what I got. So now I'm going to work with these 4 pieces, and I put the other 2 off to the side, which is the other half of the page. So with this one I got plenty. I got 6 instead of my usual 4. And I'm just going to work on these smaller pieces, these 6 pieces, which turns out to be 4 3/4 by about 6 3/4. Well, a little over 3/4. Pretty cool. they're nice sizes. They're like postcards. I really like it. The size, that is. So here I'm getting to use my washi tape. I'm so happy. And I like that some of them are so see-through. So you get to see the pattern underneath. I find that's really cool while still adding other pattern. So I'm adding it to all because I want all to be similar-ish, to have the same elements, but still be different. So I guess it's like a family of pieces. And now I'm going to use a stencil to try and bring everything together and unify the cards. So I'm going to use the same stencils on all of them. I didn't find the paint itself was making enough of a mark, so I decided to use my paint marker to help brighten up the marks. I think that you call it chevron, and then it wasn't working properly, so I pressed down on the card, which I should not have done. I should have done it on a separate sheet of paper, but this is what I ended up with, a puddle of paint. And I thought, okay, let's just give it a spray and spread that and, you know, create something with that. Kind of looked at it for a while like, oh, Gina, what did you do? But I just sprayed it and let it spread and do its thing. And then I'll work with that after it dries. So I'm focusing on my other cards, getting those marks to show up some more. Going over them with the marker. And I'm still trying to decide if I want to use this as my focal point, or if it's just going to be an addition to the card, because, you know, I don't think there is really any focal point, and there's so much stuff happening on it. It's just very busy, you know. There's nothing really that's muted. Everything is just kind of in your face, and your eyes just kind of go all over the card. So I was hoping that the chevron, I believe that's what they're called, right? If I'm wrong, just, you know, leave a comment. But I'm hoping that it gives the eye something to look at and something to travel towards and something to focus on instead of just floating around the card, wondering what's happening. So here come my lines again. I'm adding in some lines. I'm just following the lines of the blocks from the stencil and just adding some more marks on my cards. I found these circles, which I had done before in a mark making session, and I love how they came out. And they're red, and they have some prints, so I thought it would be a nice addition to my cards. So these are going to go on about 3 of them, and I'm going to use these as my focal points. And they have words in them. I was trying to decide if to block out some and leave some visible so that they would, you know, read something. They would say something specific. And I took a little while trying to decide if I should, because, you know, if you do it, then you can't undo it. And I didn't know how that would add to the card or if it would take away from it. So for now, I decided to leave it as is. And maybe later on, I may block it out. But then even if I block it out, I'm not sure if I want to block it out with black or if I want to use you know, mix red and black or just do red. I don't know. And then if I do that, it will, you know, you probably won't see these circles properly, because I love how those circles look nice and messy, and you know, I just love the print of these circles. And if I block out some of the words, it will take out. So you see, it's a whole lot of what ifs that happens in my brain. So that's why I decided to leave it. And remember, these are supposed to be simple, just not simple, but think quickly and just stick it down kind of cards, or just paint it. That's, you know, that's the process I'm going for with these. So yeah, I decided not to block them out. For now, anyway. I could always go back in and change it if I want. But for now, they're just what they are, and I'm going to leave it as is. For now. I still feel like some of them are missing certain things, but I don't know. So I'm just letting them rest for a couple days or maybe even months. Who knows? I don't know. So again, I'm coming in with my lovely washi tape. Oh, I'm so happy I'm getting to, like, I shouldn't say getting to, because I could use them anytime, but I've decided to finally start using them up because I have them. I think they're beautiful. I love them. I just don't use them, and I watch other people use them, and I'm like, wow, that's so cool. I could do that, and then I don't. I don't know if anybody could relate. Probably not even with washi tape, but maybe with other, you know, art supplies. You watch other people use them and you think they're so cool, but then you don't use it and you have it for whatever reasons or whatever fears. I don't know. So yeah, and then some of them are so nice, you think, I don't want to use it because it will finish and then I wouldn't have any more. And then you still don't use it and it's just there, and you know, yeah, and the circle continues. So I decided to use them, at least try to use them more. So that's what's happening. And I hope that I will continue to use them even more as I do more of these lovely cards. I think they're lovely. So these are my cards. Let me know which one you like more, which one you like least. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. The other two bigger cards that I didn't use, those are coming in the next video. So thank you as always, and I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you in the next video. Bye!